welcome to the daily reading for all signs for today, the 14th of December, 2024. This is Ariel. Today I'm reading with this beautiful Sopra Fina tarot. This is a limited edition by Lo Scarabeo, which is out of print, but I have put a link to the identical deck in a different edition in the video description of this video on YouTube, should you desire to purchase one. Also, I'm going to purify with this Agua de Colonia Concentrada by Alvarez Gomez. Let's see what's in the cards for everybody today. Starting out with the Seven of Cups, followed by the Ace of Cups, and then that beautiful Strength card. What a wonderful day it is today. Some turnarounds, some upgrades, things, and it's all internal. It's like a new sort of way of looking at things has been coming forth from many of you. And the universe really follows suit with that. It's like we've got to make the choice. We've got to make the decision. And when we do, the universe backs us up. And so whatever that decision that many of you have been making to do your best on the internal planes, to do your best, to do your work, to try to, whether it's attitude, whether it's, cleansing your mind, meditating, working with magic, working with psalms, whatever your thing is that you're doing, and it's causing such a shift internally, the universe is underwriting your efforts. And as a result of that, you feel freer to just look at yourself. I think what happens is once you realize that you're not bad, once it's really clear that you're not bad and there's nothing about you that's bad, then it feels safer, doesn't it, to look within and maybe take a look at some of the things you're afraid of. Maybe take a look at some of the things that aren't working internally, and learning how to make friends with yourself. A lot of those things that go on internally are not because, especially the fears and phobias and things like that. It's not that there's something wrong with you. It's not that you're defective. It's that there's parts of you that are still going on old programs from your childhood. When we're kids, we make up all kinds of stuff because we don't understand the world. So we make up all kinds of little rules and rituals and ideas about things, about ourselves and the world. And they serve us when we're children because at least they give us a context to kind of get through things that we don't understand. But as we get older and we forget we even had those things, they still run us. And so what happens is if you can take some time to really turn and face some of those, what I call personality facets, and make friends with them, what you can do is instead of those phobias or fears or habits or tendencies always causing you problems, you can just work on them and let them know, we don't need you to do that anymore, because you recognize that they're trying to do something good for you, but they just don't know how, because you've just kind of left them alone. So if you take some time, and I have a couple meditations on that. I wish I remembered what they were. There's one on the Strength card, and that'll help you. There's a meditation on the Strength card. But just to turn within and find those little areas within yourself that aren't working or that are causing you problems. And instead of saying, what's wrong with me, or making it bad, give it love and recognize it's just trying to help you. It's a little part of your personality that's trying to help you based on old data. And you can just say, oh, thank you for trying to help me. Now let's look at it differently. Let's find a new way for you to help me that is in alignment with our new goals as an adult, rather than you trying to keep me safe as a little kid. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's open this up. We've got, Three of Coins. Love that. Oh, see, there's two threes, Three of Swords, and then the Magician. What happens is, well, for one thing, pain and loss are just part of the world. And the ego likes to use pain and loss as a tool to destroy all of this wonderful work that we do, all of this wonderful internal work. It says, see, nothing you say, nothing you do is going to matter, because people still die. People still leave. relationships end, pets die, and there's nothing you can do about that. And it really is a bully, isn't it? That part of the mind, that part of the ego, just really trying to undo all the good that we've accomplished by trying to use the fact that the world that we live in is set up as a world of pain against us. And what we can do is, instead of fighting against that, or instead of even succumbing to that, we can take that back internally again, like we were talking about with the strength card, and understand that, yeah, this world is painful. This world has loss. It can be a very challenging place to live and a very confusing place to live. But ultimately, we're not from this world. We're from a finer world. Our souls live in a much finer world than this. And knowing that makes it easier for us to be of help and service to others who are going through problems, and it helps us to accept the help and service that is available to us when we're going through pain and loss. You don't need to make it look like you've got it all together. If you're going through something, you don't have to play act and make it look like you're all spiritual. You can go through what you have to go through, and the universe will send you all the help that you need. But you just have to be open and receptive to all that you need. This Magician card is more concerned about appearances than about truth, and that's not what you want. You want to get down underneath the surface, like with the Strength card, and really look at some of those patterns. Because some of the loss, now some of it is very tragic, I understand that, but some of it is not. Some of what the ego calls tragic loss is nothing more than a changing of form. And when we can move within and help ourselves by reinterpreting things, or allowing our inner guide to show us how to reinterpret things in a different way, we can see a bigger picture. And even some of the biggest tragedies that we go through, we can have a different sense of them, so that we're not feeling so victimized and afraid all the time. We're recognizing it for what it is, the way this world works. This world is all about beginnings and endings. It's not about eternity here. But we are about eternity, and that's what you are all about, is about eternity. And that's what this Ace of Cups is all about, is staying in the moment, staying with who you are as a soul, regardless of the comings and goings of the world. And really recognizing all of the work you've done on yourself, and that's not for nothing. So what happens is, we go through all this work, we have all of these wonderful things that we do for ourselves, we really grow spiritually, and then something happens in the world that's really sad, and like I said before, the ego tries to use that against us, and then we just feel bad and we think we should give up. And that's not accurate. You don't want to give up. You want to double down on your spiritual work and try to understand whatever's going on from a different point of view, from the point of view of spirit, rather than from the point of view of the tragedy of this world. And while you're going through that, it can be challenging. And you don't need to pretend to yourself. You don't need to pretend to anybody. And if you're around people that you need to always pretend around because it's not safe for you to be yourself, it's not a bad idea for you to rethink some of those relationships. If there are people that just can't handle who you are when you're not making sure that everything's rosy and shiny and wonderful and making them feel good, if there's people like that in your life, it might be worthwhile for you to take a look at that. Use the Strength card message to look underneath the hood and say, well, why am I with this person, or why do I let this person in my life if I can't be myself around them, if it's not safe for me to be myself around them. Because we all go through loss. We go through ups. This is the ups here. You've gone through a lot of ups, and you've gone through a lot of downs. Welcome to the world, right? Ups and downs. And the ups and downs are what the ego loves, because it gets you really excited about the ups so that you can get really depressed about the downs. And the spirit has you staying neutral through all of that. And that's why when you notice a lot of volatility within yourself, now is a wonderful time for many of you to do that inner work, to find out what that's all about, because you're ready for it. Not everybody's ready for this kind of work, but you are because of what you've been doing. This is not your first rodeo. You've been at this for a while. So you have a lot of spiritual understanding, a lot of strength. And now it's time for you to get off this treadmill of up, down, up, down, up, down, and instead find that continuous stream of self-love and self-care, and not feeling like you have to pretend around people because you don't feel safe around them. And that's something to just take into these sessions with yourself to find out what's that all about. Why are there people in my life that I can't be myself around? And if they are an important part of my life, why? Why are they an important part of my life? Is that what I feel like I deserve? Am I afraid of that if they're gone, that I'll be alone? What is that? Why is that I just can't ever be myself around certain people? And it's a great idea to question those relationships. I'm not saying break up or not have those friends, but ask yourself, why is that I'm willing to put up with that? And maybe it's nothing to do with them. Maybe that's all you. You never know until you look. Sometimes that's what happens to me, is I think, well, I have to be this way around this person because ... I make up a whole story about it, and they have nothing to do with that. And then if I start being myself around them and they don't react weird, it's like I wasted all that time. I could have had a much more meaningful relationship with them. And yet that there are other relationships where I really don't, if I am myself, if I'm not always perfectly happy all the time, I have a problem with them. And those are the kinds of relationships that I have to kind of question. Is that healthy for me to be around? And that's probably what you're going through right now too on many levels. It's a very complex reading, isn't it? And that's because you're a complex person and there's so much going on here. But the bottom line of this is it's about your self-love. No matter who, what, where, why, when, how is going on in your life, you deserve unconditional love from yourself. And that's exactly the phase that you're going into now, is that unconditional self-love where you nurture yourself and you love yourself no matter what. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I so appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow for another daily reading. Until then, blessed be.